You're listening to the smartest guys in marketing, the best show on the planet for client businesses to learn about traffic, funnels, sales, conversions, and marketing coolness. Chris and Taylor are the founders of Traffic and Funnels, a digital marketing consultancy helping you get paid clients from cold traffic daily. Now, here are your hosts, Chris and Taylor.
When it comes to toleration, there's two types of toleration. This is something that we've just finished developing training on. We talked about it at the event for our clients a couple weeks ago in Nashville. And it's top spin and back spin. So if you're familiar with the world of tennis, these are the two types of spins that you can put on the ball. And some things can only be accomplished based on you tolerating a level of pain, loss, chaos, sacrifice, confusion, etc. And it's your job to increase your toleration for the things that are actually going to allow you to grow. So an example of this would be like, if you're asking someone like, what are you not willing to tolerate to grow? And they're like, I'm not willing to tolerate losing money. Okay, well, you're never going to grow, ever. Because a significant leader is going to be willing to tolerate losses in the micro to create wins in the macro. Make sense? So this top spin, this idea of top spin is something that you have to look at your life and you have to know that there are things that I am willing to increase my toleration for so that I can get the outcome that I want to get to. Okay. Now, here is where we divert from probably a lot of the entrepreneurs that are running businesses today. Is I do not really think that there's a right or a wrong. There's just empowering or disempowering. And so some people are like, they're not willing to sacrifice a night out with friends. That's not wrong. For the longest time, I was like, dude, that person's an idiot. Like, they're not willing to sacrifice their night out with friends. You remember this messaging that used to come from me. But now I see it differently, and it's like, this is disempowering and empowering based on what this person wants. So if you're not willing to tolerate nights out with friends on weekends, there's nothing wrong with you, but you need to have that listed out somewhere so that you can adjust your outcome and your goals accordingly.
Yeah.
So top spin are the things that you have to increase your toleration for to get what you want. Back spin are the things that you have to decrease your toleration for. People that are not serving you. Employees that are not performing well. Circumstances, situations, etc. that are easily avoidable, but you're just tolerating it again and again. How many of you on this call have a revenue goal that you've had for at least a year and you've yet to hit it?
Raise your hands. Say me.
Guilty as charged. So here's the thing. If you're saying, yeah, that's me, then you have to understand that you 100% you have a toleration issue. You have a toleration issue. And it can be that you're tolerating something that you shouldn't be tolerating, or you're not willing to tolerate something that you have to tolerate. One side or the other. And these are levers that you can pull on, right? So
hey, can you give an example?
Yeah, the man I spoke to on the phone 3 weeks ago, he wants to start producing enough revenue so he can leave his job. Talk to his spouse. They didn't want to make a decision that would put their family at risk by putting it on credit. Toleration issue. I didn't make him feel stupid. I said, okay, good luck. Have fun, bro. No worries. But let me tell you right now, like, that person will struggle indefinitely until he is willing to tolerate. He's got to lift his toleration for the unknown. Because that's what it comes down to, is he wasn't willing to tolerate ambiguity or uncertainty. So he has to raise up his toleration for uncertainty, or he will not get what he wants. Another example would be like people who are tolerating a friend that they have in their life that is constantly toxic, constantly taxing. Well, that's an issue where they need to actually force down their toleration levels and remove that person from their life. Those are two opposite examples, but
yeah, let me see this. I want you guys to put in where you're currently at income wise or revenue wise, and then what your goal was for the year. All right, so Todd was 19-month goal, and he's at 15. NATO 15 currently, goal 50K. Ed 20 currently, 40 is the goal. Tom 10K, 25. Harvey exceeded his goal.
yeah. Attaboy.
Tim, what was the actual numbers? Put the actual numbers in. I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this in just a sec. Kristen says at 6K, goal is 30K. Tim said goal was 1 million, ended up at 140K. All right, so Taylor, this highlights probably some good stuff on that we could do on goal setting and projections. But aside from that, I see probably most of you are way off from your goal. The reason why is because of your toleration levels, right? When you're at a place where your goal is 30K and you're at 6K, it comes down to what you've allowed yourself to tolerate. You have tolerated that income level as being okay. It could be a product of your environment. It could be a product of your plan. It could be a product of what you want. It could be a product of you actually listing this out. It could be a product of, you just not knowing if that's good or bad. And so I'm here to tell you that it's not good. It's not healthy, right? When you get to a place where, again, like we were talking about yesterday, where apathy starts to creep in, like, oh, well, this month, I'm 6K, I'm at 10K, I know my goal is 20K. It's like, that's still pretty good, right? And you start to tell yourself these lies.
Yeah, you could say like stagnation happens when you tell yourself a story that something is good when it is not.
Yep. Now, in the case of Kilroy, he said his goal was 1 million and ended up at 140. I don't know if you're talking about monthly or for the year, but that's like a drastic. Okay, so for the year. So something like majorly off. That should be like alarms and like sirens going off. Like there's something.
Or maybe you just went Grant Cardone and like 10x'd and like set yourself up for like bias.
There could be that, right? Like that could be the thing. It's like, dude, I'm just way off. Like I don't have a plan to get me there. I don't have the process to get me there. I don't have something proven to get me there. It was like, I read Grant's book. I was like, yeah, bro, 10x.
Dude, can I rap about that for just a sec?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're getting me all excited and like bothered. Like my face is turning red. Get like amps. We just brought in 2 new sales guys. Advisors is what we call them. And I was training one of them a couple days ago because he keeps projecting that he's going to close this number and then he doesn't even come anywhere close. I'm like, dude, stop. Like, stop projecting and then not hitting your projections. And he's like, well, how healthy is it for my mindset if I look at a day and I project 0? Basically, that I don't expect to close any. I'm like, thank you for asking me this question because it is we are so philosophically different from everyone else out there that I forget that people come in and they're taught to set huge goals and 10x your goals and freaking F and blow up your goals. And what it's doing sometimes is just creating cognitive dissonance inside of people, and it's really creating unhappiness.
Yeah.
When you set a goal for 1 million, you hit 140, it's like, oh, that's real uncomfortable. So I had an opportunity to train him, and I said, look, I think the best thing for your mindset is accuracy.
Ooh.
The best thing you can do for your mindset is train yourself to become a person of accuracy. Don't set a goal to go to the gym 7 days a week, 3 hours a day. Because what that's doing is it's going to actually push you outside of that circle of accuracy. It's going to cause all this internal struggle and angst. So what does that say? Does that say you should lower your goals down to the level that you should hit? No, it says you should stay in sequence. So you want to be a step or 2 steps out in front of what you think is possible, not 10 steps ahead of what you think is possible. Because at the end of the day, until you train your neurosystem to learn that you're an accurate person, you're an accurate thinker, this is where imposter syndrome comes from, bro.
Yep.
It comes from people not knowing how to be accurate, and then they don't believe themselves.
Yep.
If you break all these contracts you have with yourself, you're going to be in imposter syndrome city for the rest of your life.
I wish I had an organ right now because I'd be playing it.
So yeah, you guys can tithe and give offerings to us at the end of this message. We'll use it to go buy our new building.
Yep. This is like, nobody talks about this. And someone said, how do you guys come up with this concept? By going through it, going through all the stuff that we're talking about and thinking, like actually shutting off our phone, going to Starbucks with a notebook, and figuring out what the hell was wrong with us. This is our process, our pain that we are packaging up and saying, hey, don't be stupid like we were. You can avoid all these issues right? Now, the other side of this is you guys have these goals. You're so far out. But the thing that absolutely blows my mind, and this might be what you're talking about with the contracts, you guys have done other things, and it could have been the other mentor's fault, right? A lot of it, I think, is our responsibility if we just get down to the wire. You know, we bought a course, we bought a program, but we didn't go all in. You know, take it to
been there.
Go. So what, you know, a lot of with Client Kit, I'm going to assume, and I'm probably wrong by doing this, I'm going to assume that you guys know exactly what Client Kit is, but it's proven. Like, you go and you freaking look at our tank page, and there's like a bazillion of people who have been where you are. They've been able to get over their bad toleration of investing in themselves, investing in a proven process to get clarity and have that certainty of, okay, if I make this step, it's a very, very, very high chance it's the right step. And so there's a confidence being built there. So you guys have to make that shift. And for us, we are always, always pushing for accuracy and clarity. That's why we spend an ungodly amount with Jay Abraham every year, right? Like we spent $200,000 in the last year just on mentors, not including all the other stuff we buy.
Yep.
And what's happening is, like, man, I don't know if you guys have seen the new Iron Man. Like, he just presses the button, like he has all this, you know, this whole thing just attaches to him. Like, that's how I feel with having all these people in our corner, and just the experience and the speed of that experience of being able to judge what is an accurate situation and what's not. Is my thinking correct? Is it not? Because you are the ultimate weapon. And if you're not investing in yourself and sharpening yourself as that weapon, you will never grow. You will never obtain those goals that you have.
What we're talking about is awesome, because when you get this, you realize that you control everything in your life. Not via the circumstance, but via the response and the machine that interprets the circumstance. Yeah. And so for us, it's like, well, what do we want? And are we willing to tolerate what we think hypothetically, are we willing to tolerate what we hypothetically think this will cost us? If we are, great, we set the goal. If we're not, great, we don't.